Back to the channel again. We're sitting in the same seat as what we were in the previous video, and we're just going to talk about, this is a quest from one of my YouTube and Instagram followers who are struggling with rushing the downswing. So rushing the downswing is quite a big topic in golf at the moment, and it does create a lot of confusion and a lot of golf related problems on the downswing. So what I mean by rushing the downswing is a lot of players will get the club to the top of the backswing, they'll get it in a functional position, an ideal position, but the tendency is, if you golfers release the club earlier or throw the club from the top of the backswing, we know we're in a hurry to hit the golf ball, and we get in a tendency of actually start the downswing a little bit too quickly. So it's my job today to educate you golfers out there in a couple of simple tips to implement not only within our indoor practice, but when obviously we get locked down and golf courses reopen once the frost lifts, then this is a few simple tips that you can implement within your practice and take on board when you want to progress your golf swing in the future. But we're going to do this another indoor video today. It's so cold outside and it is dark, so I thought I would take the time wisely just to give you golfers a few simple tips that you can use within your practice, obviously to improve. So this is a request from one of my Instagram followers who are struggling with rushing downswing. So what I mean by rushing the downswing is it's almost a tendency to hit the golf ball a little bit too quickly. So this golfer, if I get in my seat, I'm getting a little bit sore sitting down. So guys, this golfer came for a golf lesson and he had a couple of patterns of play that he was struggling with. So what I always think about when we're rushing downswing, is it a tendency to hit the golf ball? Is it a lack of our body pivot working functionally as much as we could possible to try and actually create a bit more rotation and how that's going to affect the downswing path? So I look at three things. How do we build up the energy, how do we restore the energy, and how we release the energy? So you've heard the terms before, so I look at these in three different aspects. How the golfer rotates in the top of the backswing, how he maintains that energy, and how he allows his lower body to, let's say, disassociate or move first compared to his upper body. So this golfer came for a lesson earlier this week, and it was an online lesson, and this golfer had a tendency, when they get to the top of the backswing, the tendency was it got a little bit quick, so the shaft started to get a little bit steep, arms started to work quicker than what the body was, and then that's what we call rushing downswing. So what we talked about was we need to feel like we're in a way of we're creating a little bit more width on the way back, so we're creating a little bit more rotation on the way back. And this golfer has a tendency of the right leg just staying a little bit too flexed, one that is the legs staying too bent through the backswing. And from that position, we didn't actually coil up properly on the way back. So what I want every golfer to do is we need to get to the top of the backswing, we need to create energy, restore the energy and release that. But what we need to do is we need to restore that energy for a little bit longer. And how do we do that? So the one tip I always give to golfers who struggle with the body pivot is, if you were to get in a position and we were to, let's say, do this move without a golf ball, can we look over our right shoulder without actually moving too much sideways away from the golf ball? So what I want you to do is set up the golf ball, or the imaginary golf ball, and can you look over your right shoulder without looking too much over your right foot? Can you look over your right shoulder without actually moving your shoulder? So our chest just turning this way, and then we're just looking over our right shoulder. A lot of golfers, what they'll do is they'll just kind of tilt their hips this way, so known as a sway. Head just kind of stays centered, and from there we're in a trouble. So the first tip that we're going to focus on, what we need to do is we need to create more rotation. So we need to create a little bit more turn into our right hip. So how we do that is, I want you to feel like you put the club across your shoulders, and from this position, what I want you to feel like you do is you're just trying to get the club over your right shoulder. So the butt end of the club has to move a little bit past your back. So right shoulder kind of over right pocket, that's the analogy I use. And then what we're going to do is we just feel like we take our arm to the top of the backswing. So we're looking over our right shoulder. I've done this drill in the past, and I just want you to stretch your arms out as fully as possible. So the more width we can create on the backswing, the club's going to take a little bit longer route on the way down. I see a lot of golfers who don't turn. So if you think, if we don't turn a lot, our hips don't rotate a lot away from the golf ball, and our hips are relatively close to the golf ball. If we pretend that we're getting our hand over our right shoulder, our hips are naturally going to create a little bit more rotation, chest is going to create a little bit more rotation, and our arms a little bit further away from the golf ball. So as we start the downswing, our arms a little bit further away, and that reduces the tendency of getting the arms a little bit too quick on the downswing, and that's going to help you improve your impact conditions.